Hey, welcome to the station. It's hard to believe that it has been over a year since I launched this channel. Welcome to the station. When I started this journey, I simply wanted to share my love for trains, truth, and life. And over the past year, this channel has become something pretty special. It's become a place where I can share updates on my N-scale model railroads, explore the history and the influence of railroads in small towns and communities across Ontario, and to continue to explore new techniques and tools and skills along the way. One of the things that I've enjoyed most about this journey is the fact that it's taken my wife and I to some wonderful places, some small towns across Ontario, places where the railroad helped shape communities and industries and everyday life. But today, this episode brings us back home. Over the past year, a few things have changed here in the layout. Some areas have been expanded, giving the trains a little more room to run. Some sections were completely revised because I realized that there was a better way to do things. And there were places where I had to tear something out and start again. Now, if you've ever built a model railroad, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes what seems like a great idea at the beginning doesn't quite work the way we'd hoped. So we adjust and we revise, we rebuild, and the process, the layout then becomes better than it was before. You know, working on this layout has reminded me of something about life itself. Life goes through transitions. There are seasons where things expand, seasons where things change direction, sometimes seasons where something has to be torn out and rebuilt. But those changes don't mean something has gone wrong. Often they mean growth is happening. And just like a model railroad isn't built all at once, our lives are also a work in progress. God often works in us through revisions and adjustments, new lessons, new directions, new opportunities to grow. You know, the Bible reminds us in Philippians 1:6 that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. In other words, you know, God isn't finished building us yet. Just like this railroad layout, our lives continue to develop. There are new tracks to lay, new scenery to shape, and sometimes a few areas where we need to start fresh and build better than before. And that's okay, because every change can move us closer to the design God has for us. Hey, join me along this journey of revisions, additions, and changes to Hope Railroad. What you're about to see is a look back over the past year through pictures and video. It leads us up to the current status of the layout and the direction of the railroad. Over this past year, one of the biggest changes has been to the left side of the layout, where I added nearly 4 feet. This expansion allows for longer running trains. It creates space for this new industry, and it adds a small staging area for locomotives and rolling stock. You may also notice a major change in the corner section of the L. I removed the elevated city and brought it down to the layout level. I reworked it to be a more spread out town. This not only improves visibility, but it also gives the whole area a more natural and open feel. The rail yard I once had has also been simplified. I reduced it to a few smaller industries and commercial buildings, while adding a station and a small lumberyard to give it more character and purpose. Over on the far right, the elevated town remains, but it's been reworked and refined. I think it adds a really nice visual element to the layout. Another feature you'll notice is the rock face that now wraps around the outside of the layout. The idea here is that the center where you stand represents water, leading towards a small coastal area and the mouth of a river. As part of that change, I removed one of the bridges, leaving a double bridge crossing into that channel. This channel is being developed into like a seaport loading area and refueling area. I was able to pick up some sea crates for the loading area. For the water itself, I experimented with a simple technique using toilet paper and glue. And I've been really happy with it. I think it's turned out fairly well. I've also added a number of points of interest throughout the layout. A small Old West town. There's a quiet fishing scene by the pond. A developing area, which is the observation area that will be at the mouth of the river. And a lighthouse with a coastal cottage area to bring the shoreline to life. One of my favorite personal touches is a Volkswagen van, which I included because my youngest daughter used to love these. All of these additions and changes tell a bit of a story, not just of the railroad, but of the journey along the way. You see, I've learned a lot this past year, grown in my appreciation for the hobby. It is a great downtime, but there's plenty still to do. This part of the railroad makes it enjoyable. The Hope Railroad continues to grow, one section at a time. So as we explore the updates and the transitions of the Hope Railroad, I hope you enjoy the journey with me. Thank you for following along this past year. Thank you for enjoying trains, truth, and life together. And whether you're building a model railroad or you're simply navigating tracks of life, or you're simply really interested in how the railroad has impacted small towns in Ontario, remember that every transition can lead somewhere meaningful. Hey, and thanks for joining with us. We'll see you next time on Welcome to the Station.